This is Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortez, and today's guest is Bella Brave. She's an extraordinary 9-year-old warrior born with 3 rare conditions: Hirschsprungs, SCID, and Dwarfism. Despite enduring over 1,000 nights in the hospital and facing 27 surgeries, including a bone marrow transplant, her courageous spirit remains steadfast as she awaits a bowel transplant to overcome bowel failure. Bella, thank you for being my guest here today.
Thanks for having us.
She's got a big smile.
Hi there, and welcome. Now it's time for America's favorite podcast, Leave Your Mark, with your host, Vince Cortez.
If it's fly, loose fitted, it's Cortez. If freezing, chubbers in it, it's Cortez.
Leave Your Mark is about inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Pass the word from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, from urban to suburb, it's Cortez, you heard?
And here is our host, Vince Cortez.
So, Bella, what have you been up to today? What have you been doing with Mom?
Nothing.
Nothing? Were you getting ready for your interview today?
Yeah, just helping braid my hair.
No. Side pony.
Side pony. Yeah, we really just got up and started the medical routine and looked forward to joining you on the podcast today.
How's your day today, Bella?
Good.
Good. Well, you're born in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, Canada, and your mom, Kyla, and dad, Lyle. Now, Mom, you got an interesting title, medical mom, and she referenced you as a social influencer. And Dad, he got the title of just business.
Yeah, is that right?
Daddy's all business, huh?
What else does Dad do? Business. Okay. He's also a tree farmer.
You have a younger brother, Waylon. Now, what's life like with your younger brother?
Terrible. This is the worst.
Okay, so now what's your routine like? You're at home and you like freedom to play, and what goes on around the house with Waylon?
Yeah. What messy? What's your typical morning? What do you guys usually do that makes Mommy giggle?
Nothing.
You guys fly around the house, helping each other make toast, turn on cartoons, right?
Now, when you go to school, when school's in session, you go to All Saints Catholic School, and you told me that your interests are in dolls, watching movies, playing games, and fashion. Now, do you want to share with me a little bit about what kind of dolls you have and which ones are your favorite?
LOL.
LOLs are your favorite right now? You have a lot of Barbies too. What else?
And what kind of movies do you like to watch?
Barbie movies.
Okay. And then what are the favorite games you put on there? You like playing games with your friends. What type of games do you like to play?
Not much.
What'd you play with Haley yesterday?
5-second rule Disney.
Yeah, a 5-second rule board game. Disney version. That was fun. And what else you played? Dreamlight?
Yeah.
Dreamlight Valley on the Switch. That was fun. Yeah.
Okay, so you're pretty busy playing games. So now you're on summer break. You're enjoying the weather. What do you do in the summer?
Nothing much.
Nothing much.
What?
You don't enjoy the warm weather and the sunshine?
Yeah. Where do we go? Where did we go when we got home from hospital?
Neoda.
We went to Grandma and Grandpa's cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week we went to our favorite camping spot, Cypress.
You did a nice job on Mommy's hair.
A ponytail.
Yeah, you said it was a side ponytail too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you got on your shirt? Who are your people you got on your shirt there? It looks like 2 little faces.
Who are those? LOL. Oh, you shy.
Okay, what I want to do, Kyla, is you got married in 2009 to Lyle, and shortly thereafter, 4 years later, you're gonna have your first child, and it's Bella. So if you would give me a brief story about her and when she came into your world and how things began to progress.
Yeah, we were really excited to have such a great pregnancy with you when you're kicking in my belly.
How did Daddy think of a girl?
Daddy was so excited for a
Do you
girl.
want a girl or a boy?
He was fine with either. I was really hoping for a girl. I had your name ready to go, Isabella. I was like,
What, Mom, what would you do if I was a boy?
I would be completely fine with that too. And I don't know. I was just happy.
What name would you pick?
We had a few picked out. I can't really remember. I just remember.
I think one was Piper.
Oh yes. I think I also like Sebastian. And Theodore. I know. Okay, we're getting off topic.
She's not sure she would have liked being called Sebastian.
Terrible.
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 I don't know if it was Sebastian. I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was 9 years ago.
I remember Piper.
Piper was one of the girl names I picked out. Yeah.
I would have been a nice Piper.
Yeah, I think Piper would have suited you too. Isabella was my choice, and then so we didn't think anything was going to turn into long-term hospital stays with our little nugget. She was just fine in the womb. And so when she was born was when things started going downhill, and our doctors were quite concerned at 3 days old when she started vomiting a lot, and they air ambulanced us to our nearest pediatric hospital. And at 3 days old, she needed a surgery on her bowels for Hirschsprungs disease, which is a bowel disease that basically causes dead cells in your colon. And from there, we lived in hospital for 2 years due to all the complications.
200 days.
Oh no, 200 days of isolation was.
Oh my.
We'll get to that. But our first initial diagnosis we were dealing with Bella was the bowel disease called Hirschsprungs, and so she went through numerous surgeries for that, and we just never got to come home because there were so many complications. But that's because she also had another underlying rare disease that we didn't know she actually had at birth, and that was the severe combined immune deficiency, which meant she was actually born with no immune system, and we didn't know.
I mean, that just sounds alarming just by title. So the idea of her fighting off any type of illness, and she doesn't have an immune system. I mean, what kind of thoughts are going through yours and Lyle's mind?
Well, I mean, at the time we had no idea. We thought we were just dealing with a bowel disease that was really, really difficult and very rare and extensive for such a young child. As our surgeons and teams told us, it just got to the point where our team in Saskatchewan was at a loss, and they're like, we need to send you to a specialized center. So after they couldn't fix her enough to get us home.
Did they send me Sickens or Alberta Children's? Alberta
Children's in Calgary is where we went, and they were very good, amazing. But at the same time, at this point she had gone through 4 bowel surgeries and with no immune system. And then at 11 months old, we found out she had SCID, and her immunologist was shocked she survived, because she had, she literally said, like, our specialist had said, like, it's a miracle she's alive, because kids with SCID they can't survive a common cold. And yet Bella survived 4 bowel surgeries. So they were quite shocked. And then that's when, at a year old, they had to tell us, okay, get ready for another year in hospital because she needs a bone marrow transplant.
Oh my. Now, let me ask you this, because at that point, she's just really not talking yet. She's just that young. So how is the line of communication, or what is your understanding of what she's going through?
It was, I would say those years when she was, little and not talking yet was so difficult, because she couldn't tell me what was wrong. She couldn't tell me when she was in pain. We could only go off of the symptoms. And
no, this is how I could tell you when I was in pain.
Yeah.
And this is when I'm telling you I was happy.
Yeah. Yep. And I would be by your side 24/7, and the nurses, of course. And that was really, really hard. to see her in so much pain and not know how to fix it initially for so long. Yeah. And it was, you know, a lot of underlying conditions. We just didn't know how bad they were. We didn't understand them fully. And knowing what we know now, 9 years later, our specialists are still telling us that they have not seen another child or adult with this combination of rare conditions. So they're, you know, Bella's really paving the way for rare disease and how to help parents or caregivers, you know, help these people with these rare conditions like Bella.
Now, I mean, you have 3 different conditions going on, no immune system. Just what kind of conversations are you having with your husband? Like, I mean, the idea is like, there's really no introduction into this. This is like you're thrown into a battle storm. Like, I mean, on an emotional side, being there for one another, and then being there for Bella as individuals, and then as a parents. I mean, this is just about as highly emotional, anxiety packed as you can get. So share with me the mindset and how the two of you walk through this.
Yeah, it was there was a lot of trauma in the first couple years living in hospital and going through everything we had to see our child go through. It definitely, you know, I'm so thankful my husband and I had each other. I can't imagine going through that without a partner. It was extremely difficult, especially you know, when you're living day to day, not knowing if your child's going to survive. Thankfully, also myself and my husband, we were raised in faith, and we put a lot of trust in God, and we put a lot of trust in Bella's surgeons and doctors, and we really just survived off of that faith. And Bella showed us her resiliency as a warrior and the miracle that she is, pushing through every procedure, surgery, and issues that were so relentless in those first 2 years.
How much has this changed your lives?
Oh, you know, it's bittersweet to say, because in so many ways it's caused so many obstacles. I've lost my job. Like, I was a full-time teacher, and with her increasing medical needs, I could not continue with my career, and I had to give that up. It's caused our family to be under, you know, 3 to 4 separate rooms for nights on end. You know, me at the Ronald McDonald House, my husband at home, Bella in hospital, any kind of situation. It's caused a lot of family separation and intense scenarios. It's been really difficult that way, but the sweet side of it is it has shown me how healing it is to help others and to understand what truly matters in life. There's so many others I've seen by living in hospital that it's kind of cliche, but you can say like they have it worse, right? And so it's taught me, okay, I don't need to complain. I can trust, I can have faith, I can persevere, you know, because there's, in the most unimaginable, horrible situations we have been through, I've still seen other parents, you know, struggle more or not be able to bring their kiddos home. And it's like, you know, just keep the faith and things will get better. And we were just really tested in that.
Now, Bella she's got quite the personality, and as parents, and she's coming through all this, you have another child 5 years after her. So, I mean, based on what you just shared with me, that part of life could feel like slow motion, you know, like, you know, why am I going through all this? So the idea that then you have another child, share with me a bit of, you know, the decision to do that, and then some of what you went through and where you stand now, where Waylon needs to mind his manners and not bother Bella when she's playing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, what were you gonna say?
Remember when I was in the ambulance, I was like, Get away.
Yeah.
We made it tell him about that.
That was a good memory. We made one of our TikTok videos. Bella was needing a road ambulance to the hospital from where we live. And she was quite stable, but they needed her.
Wasn't that the one where they like first poked my foot?
Yeah, they were working on your bowels.
Wasn't it the one where they were like first at our hospital? They were like poking me on my stomach.
Yeah, they were trying to help you because your bowels were blocking and they were acting up, and they needed to.
And then you had to run home, pack, and run back to the hospital.
Yeah, that was an emergency. Get on the road, get to the special hospital.
Which one was it? Sickest?
Alberta Children's.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, that was. And so we were in the back of an ambulance, and there were.
How long was it? It probably been shorter than 5 hours.
It was about a 5-hour drive. Yeah.
Wow.
No, it should have been.
Oh, it was shorter because we were in the ambulance. Yeah, and they turned on their sirens.
It was probably like 4.5 hours.
Yeah. And you were like, as soon as the sirens came on and we got in the city of Calgary, you were like, "Move, get out of my way, people!" It's really funny. So
That part.
And was also that the one where I was Ariel?
I don't remember if that was. Bella likes to refer to herself as being Ariel when she needs a breathing tube. So she's had quite a few surgeries where she has to be put under, and then she's coming up with a breathing tube. And she's shocked her doctors by being able to sit up and like the next day not need this breathing tube, like take it out. So she thinks of Ariel because she has no voice with that.
Wasn't
when it's in
that
there.
when I was like 8 or 9? I mean, 7 or 8?
You were 6 or 7, I think, with that one.
7 or 8.
6. Yeah, 6. Okay, let me get on to his first question now, okay?
She had to get the story going. We
Oh,
got it
yeah.
lined up now.
We got stories now. That's okay. So back to our decision about to have a second child. We had many discussions.
Waylon was our second child.
Yeah, to have him. Yeah, to have Waylon. We went through many discussions with Bella.
Do you want him or not?
Yes, I did. Of course we did.
How dare you?
We didn't know if he was going to be a boy or a girl. I also have you on videotape telling me that you hope it's a baby boy.
Nope.
But she changed her mind, as you can tell.
What's a girl?
Anyways.
You wanted a baby sister?
She did.
Oh,
she
yeah. Did. Oh, there you go. She wanted a baby sister.
But from my heart and Daddy's heart, Bella had been through so much isolation with her rare conditions.
Mom, if I get another baby sister, I would just care more about my sisters and less, actually not about Waylon.
I know, that's what you think.
And I would eat with my little sister, play with my little sister, watch cartoons with my little sister.
That'll change over time.
Nothing with my brother.
Okay, let me finish talking, okay?
My brother will be...
He'll have his friends.
Crickets.
Okay, let me finish.
Crickets. Oh my.
So what I was gonna say is being through so much isolation and in hospital with Bella, knowing at this point, 2 or 3 years in, still trying to decide on this, talk to her doctors. She had been through so much isolation, so much time away from friends and family. And we didn't want that type of life to continue for her. We wanted, she'd been so restricted with her bone marrow transplant and time in hospital from friends. And we didn't want her to essentially grow up alone. And we wanted her to have siblings and we wanted to build a family, but we wanted to do it safely and not have our next child have to go through so much as she did. So we worked with her doctors and genetics team to find out the safest way to do that. Once we learned the risks that, we didn't want another child to have to go through that trauma again. So but we also wanted to build our family safely. And we're happy that he is healthy and doing great and really makes our family complete.
Now, the idea of as much precautionary measures as you can take, that there's still that element of the unknown. So, I mean, you already are just packed as heavy as you can be with anxiety and the caregiving for Bella. So, I mean, that was an enormous step, extremely courageous on yours and your husband's part as well.
Yeah,
So,
we took time to decide, because there was a while there where it's like, there's no way we can do this. We're living in hospital. So of course we waited till we were stable enough at home. Bella's third year, like her first year out of hospital and at home, was quite rocky, quite busy. And then
lots of gifts, lots of deliveries,
lots of like hospital visits and back and forth. So it was really not until her fourth year where we were like, okay, this is manageable now. Let's see if we can grow our family and take a chance.
No.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Whether jumping out the MP or jumping on the app.
You are listening to Vince Cortez. We just want you to leave your mark.
So you've moved on here. So what is the condition with her immune system? Because we're talking here when she's 3 years old. We're 6 years removed from that. And she is quite the live wire. And so, and very enjoyable, but, you know, what is her immune system doing now? It seems like it's working, even though it's not supposed to be.
Yeah. So that was quite the process. Like when you're born with SCID, the treatment is a bone marrow transplant. And so when she was set up for that, ideally, you know, you have to go through like a week of special chemotherapy to basically wipe the immune system that's not working. Like it was causing so many problems, making her sick. You go through that week of chemotherapy, and then you have a bone marrow transplant where they transfer donor stem cells. And so
my donor from Germany.
Yeah, my husband and I were not a match, and so we had to wait for a donor that matched Bella, and her donor came from Germany, and that was about a 2 or 3 month wait. Then
how do you match them?
It's like blood tests. So they matched you with a blood testing. And once her bone marrow transplant had happened, she was 15 months old, and it went very well. It was more risky leading up to it because she was so susceptible to anything. It's a very, very risky process. And so we were very thankful that the bone marrow transplant was successful. Unfortunately, after that, she had complications, which can happen. And so her B cells didn't recover. And these are your infection fighting cells. But thankfully her T cells, your virus fighting cells, hers are 100% working. And so that calls for, they label that a successful bone marrow transplant, because those are the main, you need your virus fighters or else you won't survive. And so what she does now is since she had her transplant, she goes in monthly infusions called IVIG. And these are provided by people that give plasma, like a blood donation.
Okay.
And so she needs IVIG monthly to survive. And what that does is it gives her an infusion, basically like an immune booster monthly, to help with infection fighters for B cells. So it gives her a dose of B cells every month, so that if she gets any sort of infection, she can fight it.
It's good. Well, it's helping her. It sounds like her immune system is building back up. Now, is that something she can be healed from, like 100%?
Typically, yeah. Like, you know, if you have a fully successful bone marrow transplant, you can go on. Well, we're talking about your bone marrow transplant, not your bowel transplant.
I want to ask you that next.
We'll get to that next. But, you know, typically with a successful bone marrow transplant, the child would then go on to get full immunizations and vaccines and be completely like a newborn baby, growing and getting vaccines and building immunity. Bella never got that chance because her B cells didn't recover after. But it would never be enough to do another bone marrow transplant. The fact that she's got 100% of her T cells, her virus fighters, she's good to go.
That's great news.
Yeah.
Now she's waiting for a bowel transplant. What does that entail? And she's been waiting for how long?
Bella's been waiting 3 years now, and she was listed because
I'm so bored. When are they going to get the call?
She really would like her bowel transplant to happen, And that's because Hirschsprungs has basically forced her bowels into bowel failure. And so 3 years ago, they realized, okay, her dwarfism her vessels are tiny, 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 because she's tiny. And so both the bowels.
The easiest thing we can care about, the easiest thing we don't deal about is my dwarfism.
That's right. We don't have to worry about your dwarfism. But
it's just little.
It's just being little. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It has affected her in a way that her vessels are tiny, which it's still her bowels. Her bowels are the main reason why bowel failure is happening. The Hirschsprungs.
I had dwarfism.
Our genetics doctors did a bunch of tests, and yeah, we didn't really know you had dwarfism in the beginning, in the first year.
Well, I did look little.
You just looked little, yeah.
So,
yeah. But sorry. So the bowel transplant needs to happen because for Hirschsprungs, it's actually long segment Hirschsprungs and dysmotility disorder. Basically her bowels don't work and they won't work. And because they haven't worked for so long, she's needed permanent IVs in her chest, on her arms, and we've used up all of those sites. So this is the one she has right now, and thank God it's still working because she needs vascular access to get a bowel transplant.
I did the call.
Yeah. And so,
which was a waste.
Well, what happened last December, we've been waiting 3 years. We did get a call. It was really upsetting because we got all the way to Toronto and they had said, sorry, it can't happen now. There's an issue with the donor. So whatever happened, whether the organs were damaged or it just didn't work out, we had to go back home without new bowels. But we're back to waiting and hoping that the time will come soon, and encouraging people to discuss, keep the conversation going about organ donation, because not all organs can come from a living donor.
Now
that's interesting.
Another 3
No. We hope we don't have to wait that long.
It can even happen right now.
The call could come at any time.
Right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got my phone right here.
That.
We kind of live by our phones now because she's on the wait list waiting, and
she's got the energy. She's gonna draw it to her. I can feel it. You're gonna have it happen soon.
We got to call it like the worst time.
It's okay. It'll be the best time when it calls.
It'll be the best time.
No,
yeah.
we literally got at the worst time. Supper time. Because we had to drive in the dark.
Yeah, that's okay.
You're gonna go no matter what.
They make
Bella,
it happen.
you've become very popular like your mom. You're calling your mom a social influencer, and I think you've helped her out quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, how would you like to leave your mark in this world? How would you like the world to remember you?
Be brave.
We teach them how to be brave.
And what's your mark, Mama?
That was the next question.
I want to leave my mark in a way that has helped people learn how to find joy through real difficult, hard times, and just keep faith. I hope that when people remember me, they're like, okay, Kyla was an amazing mother who showed me how to be strong in any situation that's been difficult for me.
That's beautiful. Now, before I let you go, I want you to share with me where we can hear and find out more about Bella's story and follow her.
Yeah. Do you remember Bella? Or do you want me to say?
And then, any links or anything like that, just mention them now.
Yeah. So we have a website, bella-brave.com. And thank you. So on our website, we have our merch, and 50% of our merch sales go directly to us in helping Bella with her ongoing medical needs. And we also have links on our Instagram and TikTok, which is at Kyla CT. So we have links there to our YouTube and our Facebook. We just really appreciate everybody who is here with us on this journey and supporting my brave girl, because we're not sure how long it'll take to wait for new bowels. So the journey continues and it's ongoing. So yeah, please join our socials at any time. We would love to have you.
Hey, Bella, I want to thank you for being on here. I really appreciate you helping all these people and share what a courageous and wonderful young lady you are. And we look forward to hearing about you healing and seeing how you move forward in this world. But we appreciate you and your courage.
That's really special to me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Leave Your Mark today. Tune into our next episode of Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortez. Be blessed.
You just left your mark. Thanks for listening. Listen to more episodes on demand. Just click Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortez.